Hello, everyone. This is Music Mukbang. I'm Zoe, and this is the Behind the Tour series where I'm talking to a few people that I know that work behind the curtain on professional music tours. So today we have Nashville Scene Readers Poll 2024 Best Instrumentalist of the Year and lead guitarist for the band Cherry Vance. But most importantly for this series, he is a touring guitar tech and backline tech for Keb Mo. So, hi,
Yes.
Ari, welcome.
Hey guys, thanks Zoe for having me. I love
Yeah.
music mukbang and everything you're about. And you had Cherry Vance on the podcast. Like,
Oh,
what
yeah.
was it, like a year ago now? It's crazy how
No, it
time
was
flies.
like March, but everyone should
Okay.
go listen to that episode because that was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
funny too.
But yeah, we instantly connected on that and can't thank you enough for having me
Yes.
as as myself on this
Yes.
podcast. So
I'm so excited to talk about it. And you just finished up tour like what, like 5 days ago or something?
yeah, yeah, about just about 5 days ago.
How
Yeah.
was how was it? This was a little bit for context. You had a first section of the tour, and then this is had a little bit of break, and then now a second section of tour. But you went to a lot more places. It was like a
Mhm.
larger thing. So how was that?
Yeah, well, it was first of all amazing. I love working with. I don't like saying I work for an artist. Like we work together. So I work with
Right.
Keb and he works with me. And he's just one of the most amazing human beings I've ever come across. So it's just very great to work with him. And but yeah, the first tour was actually a Taj Mo tour. So that was Taj Mahal and Keb Mo
Okay.
on that together, co-headlining. This was just Keb Mo by himself, and we had a co-headliner, Sean Colvin,
Okay.
who was incredible, and her whole team was incredible. Um, but yeah, it was a whole West Coast tour, so we started in was it Phoenix? No, we started in Tucson, then Phoenix and
Mhm.
San Diego, and then we did like New Mexico, Montana, Santa Fe. Um, we were in Colorado for quite some time, Beaver Creek, Colorado Springs. We just went to the most beautiful places, like in the mountains, and there were a couple of venues that were like on ski resorts, like nice ski
Oh, that's
lodges.
nice.
So like
Yeah.
I would wake up in the mountains in Colorado on a ski lodge, and just it was beautiful. It was yeah, it was pretty great. But I did have a different role than the last tour. So the last tour, I was the teleprompter operator,
Mhm.
which was sick. I mean, it was that was my way in to get on my first tour. It was my first tour
Yeah.
ever. So I was like, "Yep, I'll do it." Was on tour for 3 weeks running the teleprompter. But this one, I was the guitar tech and backline tech. So I had a lot more responsibilities, and yeah, I was a lot more tired than I was on the last tour,
Hmm.
just because I had a lot more. I was moving and pushing cases more than I was on the last one. But yeah, it was great. So if you have any questions about that,
That's awesome. Well, first thing I want to know is what was your favorite state or like tour stop that you had this time around?
it was probably Beaver Creek, Colorado was my favorite. It was just the ski lodge was just so nice. San Diego was incredible too. That was the third show of the tour,
Hmm.
and I have a bunch of family who lives out in San Diego, and we had a day off as well.
Oh,
So I
perfect.
woke up in San Diego for a day off, and then I just like had breakfast with my family and lunch and spent the whole day, went to the beach and had dinner with my family. And then like the next day, a bunch of the fam came to the show, got to meet, everybody. So that was pretty special to me, just having my family see what I do, which was cool.
Yeah, that's so nice. Do you feel like that kind of helped them to like understand a little bit more of like what you do and stuff like that?
Definitely, because I showed my dad like the tour bus, and he like got up in my bunk and stuff, and
Oh, I love that.
you
Yeah.
know, they know what it is that I tour and I'm on the bus and
Hmm.
whatever. But yeah, for me to take them backstage and show them the catering area and show them the dressing rooms and the tour bus and all this stuff. So it made it a little bit more real,
Yeah.
that they were able to see it.
For
So
sure. And I think compared to the tour that you were on earlier in the summer to this one, aside from, having to like move gear around a little bit more, was there any differences between the two? Like major differences that you noticed?
as far as like venues and hospitality and travel, there were no differences.
Hmm.
Um, it's a very well taken care of tour. So we had, hotels and showers and it was very well taken care of. But the only differences really were my responsibilities. I was in charge of all the stage, all the backline, all the stage instruments. So the keys, the drums. I became a drum tech on this tour, which was really cool for me.
That's awesome.
Became a bass tech, became a keys tech. Uh, and my job was to set it all up and make sure it's all working. And if something, know what to do if something goes down. But
Right.
the main job was being Keb's guitar tech. So, bringing the right guitar out on stage for the right song, doing guitar switches. We would practice our choreography between handoffs
Nice, nice.
because it's got to be smooth. I would change. We didn't change strings a whole lot. I did a couple times.
Hmm.
Had to do one truss rod adjustment on a very expensive guitar, which made me
Oh
a little
yeah.
nervous. It's like a one of 50, and so I had to like get in there with screwdrivers and an Allen wrench, and it was scary. Um,
For
but
those
yeah,
who maybe aren't as familiar with guitars and stuff like that, can you explain like what that is and
yeah.
like the
Well,
purpose?
so there's basically in every guitar, there's like a piece of metal,
Hmm.
like a rod going up the neck,
Yeah.
and that's how you adjust we call it the action of the guitar. So kind of how low or high the strings sit on the neck.
Hmm.
And Keb noticed there was like a slight buzz on one of the strings on the fifth fret and the 12th fret. So that told me that the action was a little bit low because it was kind of hitting the fret. So, and this was like a custom Keb Mo Gibson one of 50, serial number one of 50. I had to get in there take it apart with a screwdriver and take a little Allen wrench and slowly make adjustments until the buzz went away. Yeah, that was
Well, and
crazy.
you figured it out. That's
I did.
insane. I mean, famously, like Springsteen would fr throw his Telecaster to his guitar tech between songs. And one time the guitar tech got hit in the head by
Ooh.
the guitar. But aside from working on like super expensive gear, was there anything that was like kind of risky or like challenging in your day-to-day tasks that you can share?
Well,
I don't want to like
no, no. I mean, I don't think there was nothing like there was no guitars flying in the air, that's for sure. I wish that'd be cool, that'd be fun. But no, I mean, I wouldn't say anything risky. Um, the only like risky thing would be like if they were to add a song like right before the show,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and I'd be like, okay, what guitar? Because I'm also in charge of putting the capo on the guitar.
Okay.
So like I gotta and like what tuning it is because sometimes there's like open G, open D. We had one song that's like open D minor seven and like
Hmm.
one and then like standard tuning. So it's like if they were to add a song right before the show, I would have to figure out what guitar, what tuning, if there was a capo, that kind of stuff. So that was like
Okay.
the only risky thing, but it wasn't. We're all professionals, and
Yeah,
as long as we got the set list before the show, we knew what to do.
gotcha.
So yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, so no like swinging from like super high places. Gotcha.
No,
Okay,
I wish.
that's probably good. No injuries on tour is, I feel like, an ideal thing.
Yes.
Um, I would love to hear if you could walk everyone through what like a day on tour would be like for you.
Oh man. Okay. Well, a typical day is you wake up on the tour bus. Um, Usually we would have a show the night before or a day off. So let's imagine we had a show the night before. We would travel to the next city the night of the show. We would sleep on the bus, travel overnight, wake up, and every morning we had shower rooms available. If you don't,
Okay.
it's just they just had like 3 or 4 hotel rooms, and they would just have the keys on the bus for
Hmm.
anybody. So I'd wake up. I would set an alarm for like 8:30, but I usually woke up before my alarm. And I didn't actually need to wake up that early. I just wanted to get in to the shower rooms as fast as I could because sometimes we wouldn't have an opportunity to shower after the show the night before.
Right.
So that's where like baby wipes and like face wipes and like things like that come in handy because you just got to clean yourself a little bit right before you get in your bunk. So
Totally.
I would just wake up, go to the shower room, get ready. Usually the hotels would have breakfast. I would just eat, eggs and pancakes and waffles, whatever they had in the hotel, cinnamon buns, cinnamon rolls.
Oh my gosh, I'm
Um,
hungry.
Uh,
Hotel breakfast is the best.
it's good. It's really good. Sometimes it can be.
Sometimes. That's true.
Um,
Depends.
and usually the bus would roll at like 11:30, 11:45 to the venue,
Mhm.
and it was never like too far of a drive. It was usually like within 10 minutes of a drive. One time we had like a 2 hour drive. We only had like one day drive.
Okay.
Or sorry, we had 2 day drives. Um, yeah, we'd roll to the venue, and then you sometimes we would have lunch ready for us when we got there. Sometimes we would load in and then have lunch. It just kind of depended on the day, but usually load in was 12:30. So we would usually have lunch at 12 and then load in at 12:30. And we have a very chill uh truck. Like we don't travel with a lot of gear. It's just very chill, so it wouldn't take too long to unload. And usually there's local stagehands who help you get all the gear out of the truck. And then we would just start setting up the stage. So me and Hutch would we'd start with the risers. We just have a
Hmm.
keys riser and a drum riser. We'd get those built, get them in place so that, and then we'd get the rugs. We have 2 rugs that are front of stage. So we'd get the rugs and the risers down. That way, the lighting guy, Chris, can start setting up his lights and start seeing where things are going to land. Once risers are built, I'll start building out drums. Hutch will usually go start building out the keyboard world. It's just a Nord and a B3 organ. Um, and then I gotta, I'm kind of in charge of all of it. So it's like there's about 50 things going on at one time. And I'm very ADD too. So I see a list. I'm like, okay, there's like 25 things I need to get done within this hour. It's like you gotta
Hmm.
like budget your time and be like, okay, what's the proper order that I should get this stuff set up in? So once the drums are built, I would then start on Keb's guitar stuff.
Yeah.
Just set up his pedal board, set up his wireless, get all the guitars out of the vault and start acclimating to the weather, because weather plays a big role on guitars in how they sound and how they stay in tune. So the earlier I can get the guitars exposed to the weather, the more time they have to acclimate and settle in. So I would do that. Um, get the wireless hooked up. So it's just wireless packs go on all the guitar straps,
Hmm.
and it's all running. There's like a wireless built into his pedal board.
Okay.
So
Cool.
I would like scan for a new frequency, a clean frequency. I would coordinate with the venue and with Josh, our monitor engineer, about what frequencies are not available to use and what are available to use
Okay.
based on
Yeah.
local radio stations and TV stations, that kind of stuff. Um, Once I have my wirelesses ready to go, I just kind of start tuning up guitars and cleaning them. I'm very OCD, so like if I see a fingerprint or some dust on there, like I'm gonna get it off. I had like a 3 step cleaning process. It was like a detailing and a waxing and a polishing and then like a
Nice.
string lubricant thing. It's a Diodario kit. It's actually
Okay.
comes in like a little thing. Um, I recommend it if you're a guitar player or a guitar tech. I think cleaning guitars are very important. Uh, yeah. And once guitars are all up and running, Keb has his own sound check by himself
Okay.
before the band comes out.
Right.
And me and him will sit in front of the amp and sit in front of the pedal board and just just dial in tones, dial in settings. Sometimes he would want to change out pedals for a different pedal, or try out a different amp, or just A B, try a different mic, or try this. And he would like walk out to the front of house, and he likes to listen to how his guitar sounds in the audience rather than sitting right up on stage.
Right.
So he would go out in the audience, and I would kind of dial in tones on stage. um and yeah, once that's happening, band comes out for sound check, and I'm just kind of making sure he has the right guitar. We'll check all the guitars before Keb even comes on stage, make sure it's all working. And then we have dinner at like 5, and that's usually like the chill period. And then a couple things I have to do like before the show. I got to put out set lists.
Okay.
I got to put out stage towels, put out stage waters, and just kind of do my last minute tuning. and then I'll get I usually have a like an hour to just like play guitar. So like a lot of times I would just spend my time playing guitar
Nice.
like before the show, just kind of relaxing, getting my mind right. Um, and then the show happens, and I have my set list with all the guitars that need to go out, and I'll just run out. I tune them right up until I need to bring them out on stage.
Mhm.
And we've practiced our choreography between handoffs, so it's smooth and seamless.
No one
And
gets hit in the head.
yeah, or like he doesn't drop a strap, or like just
Right.
things happen. There were two songs I had to like bring out a stool and a guitar.
Okay.
There was one time where I had to like give him the harmonica first and then give him the guitar. And like
Hmm.
there were just like some intricacies there. But yeah, once that happens, show is like 2 hours. The second the show ends, there's usually people like screaming at you for set lists or guitar picks or
Oh,
drumsticks and that
yeah.
kind of stuff. And I do like it, but you know, sometimes if they're being like way too annoying, I just don't like if they're
Yeah.
just screaming at me. But I usually like to find like the one person in the front row who's just like singing all the lyrics like the whole
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they usually don't come up to me. I'll just like one time, it actually only happened once, but there was this guy, tie-dye shirt. We were at Red Butte Gardens in
Mhm.
Salt Lake City, Utah. And he sang every single lyric to
Oh,
every single song. And I've never,
yeah.
you don't really see that a lot. So I just went up to him and I gave him a guitar pick and a set list, and he was like, "Man, I've been what I've been a fan of Keb for like 20 years, and like
Oh,
that just like made my day." Like, so it was cool to me to see that. But
oh, that's so nice.
once I do my little set list thing, we just start tearing down the stage. So I always get the most valuable stuff out of the way, like all the instruments. So
Nice.
first thing I do is turn off all the amps, turn off the B3, and then I get all the instruments off the stage and just in the guitar vault so that no, because there's just people running around and I don't want anything to fall. Um, and usually we're like trying to go as fast as possible. So it's like the second the show ends, we're tearing down basically.
Totally.
Um, and just instruments off the stage. Then I get Keb's pedal board stuff, and then amps and drum. You just start tearing it all down, and you basically do it all again the next day. So
Nice.
yeah, that's kind of like a typical day
That's
in the life.
That's so interesting. And I don't know why I didn't even think about that, but it makes sense. Like the just people like screaming at you for the guitar picks and the set list.
Hmm.
That's like so crazy to think about. Like just
Yeah,
people are so like into it. So that's kind of
it's
insane.
cool. One time a lady was like, "I'll pay you $200 for a drumstick or like a guitar pick," and I
Oh
was like,
my gosh.
"Well." And this is actually the truth. We don't have that many to just give away. Like, well,
Right.
drumsticks and guitar picks, I rarely give away
Hmm.
because we just don't have that many to just give away. I
Yeah.
wish we did have just like giveaway ones because people ask every show, but set lists, we print new ones every day. So that's no problem to give away
Hmm.
set lists. But yeah,
So with this tour, obviously like this is like your first time being the guitar tech and the backline tech. How much of the previous tour that you were on do you feel like you went into this one pretty prepared with like what you were going to be doing?
yeah, actually, to be honest, if I didn't have that tour to just watch the guitar tech and shadow, it
Yeah.
would have been a lot more difficult in
Okay.
this tour because, well, one, we didn't have any rehearsals for this tour. So literally we all just flew to Phoenix and
Hmm.
had our first show the next day. First time ever, seeing the stage, seeing the setup, just like first. So luckily there were a lot of things that stayed the same from the last tour. And I was able to remember a lot of those things. But if I didn't have that last tour to like shadow the guitar tech and see how operates and see how the setup is and all that kind of stuff and see what the job is of the guitar tech and backline tech, it would have been a lot more difficult for me to just kind of jump into the first show and be ready to go.
Totally.
So that was a big help.
I'd love to hear how you got your job working with Keb Mo.
Yeah, well, so I was working at Blackbird Studio as an assistant engineer, and I was on a session, just assisting, and one of Keb Mo's managers, Lee Brannon, was in the room. And she liked the way I worked. She liked my attitude, and I did a good job that day. And I had done a couple, I'd done a couple like one-off things for her over the course of the year. But it was about a year and a half later, I get a text from her one day, and I was at the restaurant I was working at as a host, and I get a text, and it says, "Do you know anybody who knows how to run a teleprompter?"
Hmm.
It wasn't like, "Do you want to do this?" It was just like, "Do you know anybody?" I was like, "To be honest, I don't know anybody who knows how to run one, but I will learn it right now," because she said there's like a 3 week bus tour coming up, and it's been my dream to just be on tour. So I just said yes. I was like, yeah, I'll learn it right now. So I learned it and texted her back, and she was like, okay, great. uh can you be at rehearsals in the morning for the first, and I was like, sure. So yeah, that's how I got the teleprompter gig. But it was cool because like the next day, Keb was doing a show at the Grand Ole Opry, and the
Hmm.
guitar tech at the time happened to be sick that day, and they needed a fill in just for this one show. So within like 24 hours, I was guitar teching for Keb at the Grand Ole Opry. I got to quit my restaurant job and just go out on the road for 3 weeks. And I was very fortunate that, so going into that tour, we knew that it was going to be that guitar tech's last tour with Keb.
Right.
So, and I guess it was maybe like a week into the tour, they kind of had told me that I was going to be the next guy
Hmm.
and to start shadowing him and watching what he does. So I had that whole tour. I think we talked about this, but I had that whole tour to shadow him and just to see how things worked.
Right.
Um, but the way I sustained the job is just because of my attitude and my work ethic and my willingness to learn and willingness to do, to help anybody, help and not just do my own job,
Right.
help everybody. So that's how I got the job. That's how I sustained the job. And here we are.
Here we are. Very cool. And you're going to be joining Keb Mo as well for the next round of tour as
Yeah.
well
Yeah.
in the
Well,
winter.
anything that he's, as far as I'm concerned, anything he does, I'm gonna be there for. So we're
Okay.
doing the blues cruise coming up in October. So
Nice.
I'll be on the cruise for like a week, and then he's got a solo tour. It's just him and a guitar, not the band.
Okay.
That's in November,
That's
and
exciting.
then he's got another band tour in February. And these are all like 3 week. Whenever
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
tour, it's like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Um, and then he's gonna be. I'm doing maybe some studio stuff for him. Keb's got a nice studio at his house, and so he's always looking to help, just work on some music or help upgrade the studio or clean the studio. I was there
Mm.
2 days ago. Just we were going through all of his pedals and just kind of seeing which one he likes and
That's
whatnot. So,
cool.
yeah,
Nice.
I guess for the time being, whatever Keb's doing, I'm gonna be there.
That's awesome. And I feel like it's very cool too that you get both like the touring experience and then also too like helping on the recording side as well too,
Mhm.
which you're already very familiar with. So do you, with living in Nashville and there predominantly being people or most people are, pursuing something with regards to music, do you feel like being in Nashville like can be challenging at times or competitive, or do you think it's more positive?
Yeah, I think, well, one, it just kind of helped that I grew up in Nashville and I got to
Right.
see it. I got to see it as a child and as an adult and a professional in the industry.
Hmm.
I think the music industry is competitive regardless of what city you're in.
Right.
LA, New York, Nashville,
Right.
Boston. Um, but I would say what separates Nashville from a lot of those other LA, New York places is the type of people you get here. Um,
Hmm.
Everybody's very willing to share their knowledge. Like, no, there are, of course, a few people who gatekeep knowledge, but for the most part, everybody's just here to help each other. And as long as you're a good person, and people just want to work with good people and good music. That's it.
Right.
And nobody has secrets. And I mean, of course there's secrets, but people are just willing to share and willing to teach. And it's a big collaborative city. Like everyone just wants to write with
Yeah.
each other. And if you need a fill-in guitar player for a show, or like you know who to call, you have your circle of people, you know who to call for
Hmm.
for anything that you may need, whether it's a video shoot, music stuff, studio stuff, touring, like whatever it is. There's every aspect of the industry here in Nashville, and I think that's very valuable.
Yeah.
Having access to labels and um, studios and touring facilities and video, like music video places, and it's all here. And I think that's never a disadvantage to be around that, and to
Totally.
be around like-minded people. And I'm not saying you can't find that in LA or New York or Austin or anywhere
Hmm.
where there's a big music scene. um, I think just once you find your people, that's the most important thing. Knowing who to call for what thing, or
Yeah.
knowing who not to call for certain projects is important. So yeah, I think Nashville's great. Stop moving here though, please.
Yeah. I saw a post about that the other day and I was like, hmm.
I'm joking. Definitely, we would love to have you in Nashville for sure. Yes.
But don't be an asshole about it. How about
Yeah,
that?
I just think like if you move here, like just be chill. Like people just want
Yeah.
chill people,
Exactly.
That's what
Exactly.
it's about.
So, having grown up in Nashville, your whole life spent there, was there any moment in your childhood where you kind of realized, like, oh, okay, like this is like someone who's important in the music industry, or this is like, oh, I'm like neighbors with, whoever. Was there any moments like
Yeah.
that growing up?
There was maybe 500 of those stories just growing up. I mean, just going to the grocery store, you see all the or like you just see people.
Hmm.
But what's cool about Nashville is like you wouldn't really know who they are because they just dress in like jeans and a
Casual.
t-shirt,
Yeah.
like a hat or whatever. Um, but I did go to, going to school growing up, there were a lot of industry people who sent their kids to my school. I was also on a travel soccer team
Hmm.
growing up, and there were like there were three parents on my soccer team who were like big people in the industry. One was my first ever guitar teacher, John Jackson, or JJ Jackson. He was Bob Dylan's guitar player for like 12 years.
That's insane.
And he gave me my first guitar, and he gave me my first guitar lesson, and like that's who I learned from growing up.
That's so cool.
Another one is this guy Desmond Child, who he wrote like "Living on a Prayer," "Dude Looks Like a Lady," "You Give Love a Bad Name," like "Living La
Hmm.
Vida Loca." He's just wrote a lot of Bon Jovi, Aerosmith, Kiss
Okay.
songs. Just like a lot of, he's in the Songwriters Hall of Fame. He's like a legendary songwriter. I was just good friends with his sons, Roman and
Hmm.
Nero, growing up. We were on a soccer team together. We went to middle school, or we went to high school together. So, and then, my mom, we're like family friends. Like they go on walks together and stuff like that. So
Right.
there were a couple people in my class in high school. So I was in a class called rock band in high school, and like we
Okay.
would just like it was a whole class period, and we would just put on like a couple concerts for the school a year, and we would pick whatever songs we wanted to play, and
Hmm.
it was really fun. Um, but there were some of the people in my band were like some big country artists.
Hmm.
Daughters were in the band, so I got to perform in front of these like very well-known country artists. Like
Yeah.
they saw me from like freshman year to senior year playing guitar and on my growth and that kind of stuff. And
Yeah, that's
one
really
of
cool.
them, I wish I could say the name, but I'm not going to. But one of them came up to me after a show and was like, "You need to go," or came up to my parents, I think, and my parents told me.
Hmm.
But they were like, "You need to send your kid to Blackbird Academy. Like he's got music. Like send him to Blackbird." And I did, and it changed my life. And so like getting the just having an opportunity to go to school with a lot of industry people watching me as I grow up, and then like in my professional career like actually helping me out
Yeah.
in certain ways, Um, so I think growing up here is was a blessing, to be honest. I would not have
Totally.
wanted to grow up anywhere else. So
Okay, my first question is, how competitive was it to get into that rock band class, given the nature of
it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't competitive. It was, you could, anybody could join the
That's
class, but
interesting.
they would put you in bands.
Yeah.
So it'd be like the varsity band, the JV band,
Oh,
like the
okay.
freshman band. And so like,
Gotcha.
you know, me and Jude and couple, that's where I met Jude, was in this class. Well, that's where we got close, was this
Hmm.
rock band class. But yeah, they would just put you in bands kind of based on your skill levels.
Okay.
So it, anybody could join it.
And you mentioned that like your parents have always been super supportive of you like
Yeah.
pursuing music. Do you think like kind of having that feedback from the community and then just like them watching you grow like kind of helped them to be like more supportive, or were they always just kind of like, yeah, he's probably going to go into music like based off where we live?
I don't even think it was based off where I live, where we lived. Like my sister's not in music, you know. My
Hmm.
parents aren't in music.
Okay.
I think it's just how I was born and the way my brain is wired, the way there's just, I don't know. I was just born to work in music. There's nothing else that will
Yeah.
ever make me happy. And I think growing up in Nashville, it exposed me to the industry at a little bit earlier of an age.
Hmm.
But I think even if I lived across the world somewhere random, you know, if I grew up there, I would still want to play guitar or just be in music. I don't know.
Totally. That's really special. And I didn't realize that your family wasn't in music either. So that's I feel
Nobody,
extra cool.
nobody
Yeah.
remotely close to music. I'm like the only person. So
Yes. Also, will you tell the soccer game story again? Because that was really funny.
Desmond Child, his, you know, his kids were on my soccer team. We were all playing, and one day we just see like, he didn't even pull up in like a nice car. It was just like a regular car,
Yeah.
and somebody with like a leather jacket and like sunglasses walks out and like, you know, pops his car and it's like walking all cool. And every, I see like all the parents like looking at him and taking pictures. They're
Uh-huh.
not of Desmond. Uh, and after the game, or I don't know when I found out who it was, but it was freaking Bon Jovi. Like, got out of the car and was just watching my soccer game as a child.
That's
And that was
insane.
just because Desmond was friends with him. Well, actually, Bon Jovi is Roman and Nero, his kid's godfather. So like
Okay. Gotcha.
they're like very close with each other. That was crazy. That was one of the. I think another crazy, like also just working at Blackbird,
Yeah.
like
Oh
just
my
knocking on the
gosh.
bath. Like, oh man, I'm not gonna say who it was, but
That's okay.
I knocked on the bathroom door and I'm like, I hear like just a second, you know, and they
Yeah.
walk out and it's like this A list person. And I was like, hey man, you know, it's
Hmm.
just, and same with like the grocery store, like anywhere you go, it's just like you never know where somebody's gonna be, who somebody is. I mean, yeah, it's crazy
Well,
living.
and I like from me like watching on like social media and stuff too, like even seeing like Jude and Liv and Gigi running into like Ed Sheeran and Post
Mhm,
Malone, like just
mhm.
casually in like the same day or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like a testament to like just how like often that happens. But
Yeah.
I didn't run into anyone when I was in Nashville.
Well, it's also just like, I guess the circle you run in, not you
Right.
specific, like circle, like I could name 10 people I know who work with, you know, they're in the band of a famous person, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're an engineer for them, or they're like doing a management thing, or
Always
they're,
6 degrees of separation of something,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Like, you know, people out here are working with people, with big people, and you
Totally.
just got to know the right people.
Exactly.
I don't know.
So you have this consistent role being a guitar tech with Keb Mo. Is like, I think obviously like the goal for most or a lot of musicians is to like make this a sustainable thing. When you're working with Keb Mo, is this a way to like pay the rent basically? Like, is this a sustainable like career?
With this, in the role that I'm in now, yes, 100%. I am fully sustaining myself through this job. Um, but I have a lot of other side projects that I'm doing right now. I'm
Hmm.
helping somebody at another studio, and I just got asked to play guitar for this show in New Jersey that I'm getting paid for, and I'm house sitting and dog sitting as well.
Hmm.
And just like, yes, I can support myself, but you gotta you can't just rely on one thing. You know, you
Right.
gotta have multiple things going on, uh to where that's when you start to see like the real money is when you have like you're not just doing one thing and stuck in that one thing. You have multiple other projects going on at once. And they're not all
Exactly.
in music. You know, I've got a video project I'm working on, and I've
Hmm.
got just got to be all of you got to yeah, can't get too comfortable in one job because it can end in 2 seconds.
Right,
You know?
exactly. I feel like
So,
also, I mean, same thing with non-music related jobs. Like it,
mhm.
they always say like you always have to have your resume ready. You always have to be like constantly interviewing and like ready to go because you never know like what could happen. Like clients could like leave and you could be out of a job or what have you.
Yeah.
So that totally makes sense for
Yeah.
sure.
But while I'm in this job, yes, I can fully support myself.
Which is insane. That's so cool. So you've done a lot of different things, producing, recording, mixing. Obviously, like you play in Cherry Vance. Do you, if you could only choose one, would you be able to pick?
Um, well, I guess it's different. Like if you were to ask like studio versus touring,
Yeah.
it would be hard to pick because you can do both of those. Like when you're not out on the road, you're in the studio. And that's kind of
Sure.
what I'm doing now.
Right.
Um, as far as like, guitar playing or mixing or producing or songwriting or yeah, any of those, I think they all fall under the same category of producing
Mm-hmm.
music.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, my dream is to have an my own studio, a nice build that's not in my bedroom,
Mm-hmm.
like a building. Um, but as a producer, I can play on the I can play guitar on the records.
Right.
I can help write songs. I can help mix. Um, and you can kind of do all of those things
Right.
at the same time. So in the studio, yes, you can do all the things at the same time. Actually, you can be in the studio while you're out on the road. I know our bass
That's
player
true.
Zach, he like brings a whole studio setup with
Mm-hmm.
him,
Mm-hmm.
and everywhere we go, he like sets it up and he does some recording because he's got like remote work. He has like studio work that he has deadlines for, but
Right.
he's still out on the road. So it's possible you can do both. Um, yeah,
That's very cool. And I feel like that's like different to a lot of career paths as well too. Okay. Let's get into some more speed round
okay,
type
I'm ready.
stuff. I mean, if we get into talking about it, we can. But um, if you were giving someone a tour of behind the stage of a Keb Mo show, what would be the coolest thing you would show them? Either a guitar or a piece of equipment, whatever.
Yeah. Well, probably now. Last time we did this, I had a different answer.
Okay.
I was gonna say the Neve 512 lunchbox.
Hmm.
It's got like 6 preamp and EQ Neve preamp and EQs that
Hmm.
like splits all the guitars channels and. But if I were to show anybody something, it would probably be this like serial number 1 of 50. It's like a custom Keb Mo Gibson acoustic guitar.
Very
And I
cool.
actually didn't know how valuable it was. So because he never played it during the show. So I would honestly just sit there and like noodle and like mess around with it for most of the tour
Yeah.
until one day he like wanted to use it for the show. And I had to I was doing a deep clean on it and I saw the serial number and I saw it was like 1 of 50. And then I
Hmm.
asked him, he would never sell it ever, but if he were to sell it, I asked him what it he would maybe want to get for it, and it was like the craziest number I've ever heard.
Hmm.
A guitar. So that's probably the coolest piece of gear.
That's insane. And also I feel like that's a testament to how much of a chiller Keb Mo is because like
Mhm.
he's not like don't touch this, like
Oh yeah,
you know
yeah.
what
I
I
had
mean?
no
Like
idea. Yeah,
exactly. So, okay.
he's
Uh
probably the most valuable piece of gear
there you
on the
go.
tour.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
Okay, if you could go on tour with any band or artist, who would it be? And so this could be as Cherry Vance opening or you working on a tour yourself.
Mm. That's a very hard question because like there's so many like I could get on a tour as a guitar player or a bass player,
Right,
or like
exactly.
Cherry Vance could open for somebody,
Hmm.
or I could get, work on the crew on a tour. There's so many different things. I think it all comes down to the people you're touring with and and like the type of music.
Hmm.
Like I think if you're working on a tour and you don't like the music and you don't like the people on the bus, it can be miserable.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't have any experience with that. I've been very fortunate. But any touring work I'll ever do for the rest of my life, it's got to be good music and it's got to be good people, and that
Hmm.
is all I care about. So whoever and whenever and wherever, I don't care.
Yes. Throw out some names. What are some of your
Oh
favorite artists?
God.
You said Peach Pit last time.
I mean, yeah, of course. Like opening for Peach Pit would be crazy, you know. Um,
Who was the guy that you saw at Bonnaroo?
oh, Jacob Collier.
Yeah.
Oh no way. Oh my God. One, I'm just not nearly as like a good enough musician to like be in his band, and like just to open for him. I like it's not the right type of music. Like honestly, I would that's something I would be aware of if like
Yeah.
I don't know, Eminem were to call Cherry Vance and be like, I want you to open for us. Yeah, we
Right.
would say yes, but like it's
It-
not the
It's
right type of
crazy.
music.
Yeah, it's not usually what you would expect. Yeah.
Like it
No,
doesn't work with
that
his
makes
music.
sense. And I feel like
So what were
I
you
feel
saying?
like that makes sense like to be cognizant of that as well too,
Mhm.
because obviously like you're building a brand and you're associating
Yeah.
yourself with like other musicians as
Like I
well.
guess for Cherry Vance, like KG Elephant or Paramore, if we got to like open for any of them,
Oh
that'd be
yeah,
really cool.
that would be
Um,
sick.
to work on, it's funny to, as a crew member, you see all these tours, like the big tours, like the Post Malone, Taylor Swift, Morgan Wallen
Right?
tours, like they all travel with like 15 tour buses and like
Hmm.
25, 30 trucks. And it's crews of like 100 people.
Yeah, it's
And maybe
insane.
sometimes, you don't even know some of the people on the crew.
Hmm.
I love the crew that I work with because it's just the three of us.
Hmm.
It's just front of house, who's also the monitor or production manager in front of house, and then we have a monitor engineer, and then me, and then we also have one of the guitar players who he helps with load in and load out.
Hmm.
But he's like crew band,
Gotcha.
but we only have three full-time crew members, and I think it's a lot more special because you can get a lot closer with these
Yeah,
people.
that's really
um
nice.
so as far as like working on a crew, like I want to work on a small crew. I don't want to
Okay.
work on like a big like
Yeah.
15 tour bus crew where you don't even know everybody. Um yeah. And then if I could play guitar in any band on tour, I mean, yeah, that's a hard question also.
That's okay.
It's just like, yeah, it's got to be good music. I got to love the music.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
actually going to New Jersey to play guitar for one show for James Maslow from Big
Very
Time Rush.
cool. That's awesome.
We're going to be doing like three songs. So that's
Awesome.
happening in like, I don't know,
That's
10
insane.
days.
And you worked with him on some of the music that he just released too, right?
Yeah, I mixed the song. I was the
Very
mix
cool.
engineer on his newest single.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
Okay. Do you have any recommendations or advice for younger people that are looking for a career in music or maybe like more specifically, want to be a guitar tech or, work on?
Yeah. I mean, I think I've said it maybe 15 times on this
Say the
podcast,
16th, please.
but for the 16th time, your attitude and work ethic is so much more important than your technical knowledge.
Right.
Technical knowledge will come with time.
Hmm.
Um, you need to have a willingness and a passion to learn. if you're doing this for the wrong reasons, like if you're doing this just to make money or just like you have nothing else to do and you just want to get on a tour because you think it'd be cool,
Hmm.
you're not saying you can't be successful, but typically you won't be successful if that's why you're going on some,
Yeah.
you just have to have a good attitude and be passionate about music and being willing to learn.
Yeah.
That's it.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Ari, for
Thank
sharing
you.
all of your tour stories and your experience.
I hope that was good. I hope
Yes.
you guys learned.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good.
It was so nice to hear about everything and good luck with the next leg of tour. Good luck with your guitar gig and like all the stuff you have coming up with trade
Thank you.
bands and stuff too.
Thank you.
So, yes, thank you so
Well,
much.
hopefully you come to Nashville soon and
Yes.
we'll see you soon. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, thanks so much again for having me on the
Of
podcast.
course.
Really
Happy
means
to
a
do
lot.
it. Yay.